Hi everyone, Corey here from the Knitting All the Blankets podcast, episode number 6. Yay. I've got just a little catch up and follow up information for you guys about the blankets and everything. And I'm going to show you what cotton yarn I'm going to be coning up later this month. In the last episode, I showed you what cotton I'm knitting on this month, and it is the Bernat Blue Icicle that is a nice light icy blue. Frogs, if you can hear something, you're probably hearing the frogs in the pond out front. But it's a nice light blue cotton yarn that's got a thin silver thread through it. Okay. Like I said, my name's Corey. You can find me on Ravelry at Crafts by Corey, or as Crafts by Corey, all one word. This podcast does have a Ravelry group. You're welcome to join. We'd love to have you. There is an Ask Me thread on there and an introductions thread, as well as there's an individual thread per show. So for show notes and all that, and any specific comments, if you don't want to leave them here on YouTube, you can leave them there on Ravelry. Okay, so last week I talked about starting the Boneyard shawl this week. Yeah, that didn't happen. Even with Memorial Day, I was trying to get caught up on knitting squares for Eric's blanket. Because I did math, and math is not fun. And I am way behind. But I also didn't decide to make this blanket until late March. So I'd already lost 2 months at that point. But what I figured out, I did finish the black acrylic, the Red Heart black acrylic yarn, and started in on the Red Heart cherry yarn. It's a red that Eric picked out to replace the silver. Because when he went with me to Joann's to try to find an appropriate silver yarn, he didn't like what he saw. To him, everything just looked gray. So I think I showed this thing last week, but what I'm using, it's still Red Heart, and it's just the Jumbo Super Saver. And I've knit enough. Okay, a little while ago, I've knit enough squares so far that you could start seeing through it, but you can't anymore. And now this is a mess. What else is new? I'm making a mess. So I did the calculations, and based on some statistics I kept when I first started making dishcloths and scrubbies out of cotton, I knew that average scrubby square takes about 20 yards of yarn. So, and because the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo acrylic is the same yarn weight as the Bernat cotton that I use, and I'm knitting them on the same size needle. I'm using Bamboo US size 10. I was going to get them, but too much of a hassle. They come out about the same size, so each scrubby is about 20 yards. So I did math. And a Bernat Jumbo thing, this, has 744 yards in it, brand new. Which means, if basic division is to be believed, I will get 37 squares out of that jumbo, which is cool. That's fine. And that's actually one of my knitting goals for June, is to knit through all of that red acrylic. So we'll see. In addition to knitting up the Bernat Blue Icicle that I did not bring over here, because the cone it's on, there's not enough yarn on the cone right now, on the first cone right now, so it kind of looks ugly. And I think I'm going to get through that stuff pretty quickly. just because of how much yarn, how little cotton yarn actually coned up on it. I addressed that in the last podcast if you're curious. So that's knitting goals this month, is to get the Blue Icicle dishcloths knit up and get the Red Heart squares knit up for Eric's blanket. Now, I mentioned the Boneyard shawl. Already told you guys that I didn't get it started. But I did find the correct pattern. It's Boneyard Shawl by Stephen West. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. You can go get it yourself. I'm not going to hold up the pictures or the pattern because it's free. You can go get it yourself. So, I hope to at least maybe get this started this month. But like I said, you know, they're not it's not a priority project, much like the mini skein 10 stitch blanket. I did not even bring that over here because while I have turned another corner and everything, there's just not enough growth on it, in my opinion, to show you. So if I add more onto it by next week, I will show it next week, but I'm not going to show that one. It's just incremental because it's a non-priority project. Notebook is down here. Upcoming cotton. You saw me hold one of them up already. So this is what I'm going to cone up for July, August, September, and October. So what I'm coning up are, this is Bernat Mistletoe Handicrafter cotton. I always knit, I have another skein of this, but I'm only going to knit one, or cone up one right now. I always have Christmas dishcloths for craft shows, and so I need to get these done now because I don't want to wait till the last minute to get them done. Another color I'm going to be knitting is, this is Bernat, this is the Cotton Candy collection, and this is the Lemon Drop colorway. It's a nice bright yellow, very pretty. I also have 2 big skeins of this, so I'm only going to cone up one right now. The next one is this squished little one. It's also of the Cotton Candy collection, and its name is Squishy. And I don't know if that's because of Dory and Finding Nemo with her little squid and going, and I shall name him Squishy, and he will be mine, and he will be my Squishy. I don't know, but if that's why, it's perfect. And I actually love this twist. It's, you know, white and green and bright blue and purple. It's very pretty. Very pretty. And then the last one I'm going to cone up. And if I really do save this one for last, it will be hilarious because this will be October's cotton. And it's another Bernat Cotton Candy collection. And the color is Orange Sickle. And why I find this funny is not only do I have just a random little ball of orange cotton, that it is this. Last October, I knit orange yarn. I did. I knit the baby blanket I knit was the Bernat blanket in the pumpkin spice colorway, which it was like more of a burnt orange, like orange mixed with brown. Wasn't really pretty, but the yarn was soft. It was a good neutral looking one. And the cotton I was knitting up was one that had a lot of orange in it. I think it was the Bernat Freshly Squeezed, which was another twist like this one, but its twist was orange and yellow. It was like an orange thread, a yellow thread, and I think maybe a white thread, and it just looked really good. Like, I've been making dishcloths using I keep looking here when I need to look here, so it actually looks like I'm looking at you. I've been noticing that I've been doing that. Sorry, tangent. Okay, so I've been making dishcloths in the Grandma's Favorite washcloth pattern for 8 years now. Something like that. 7, 8 years. I can make this pattern in my sleep. My husband swears up and down that I have been knitting in my sleep sometimes. Or that I'll fall asleep knitting and just carry on because muscle memory and yeah. So it's not often that I mess up. And don't ask me why, don't ask me how, I couldn't even tell you. But I finished one of the freshly squeezed dishcloths and something was messed up. And I was like at the end of it too, not at the end of the dishcloth, but at the end of the yarn. So I was going into scrubby. So it was like the last dishcloth before I got down to the little bit of yarn that I used to make a couple of scrubbies. I don't know what happened. I messed up. And of course the question was, well, are you going to tear it out? I really didn't want to. I don't like tinking. I don't like frogging, especially cotton, because it does get a little kinky. So my husband really liked the yarn. I'm sitting here playing with this in my lap. And he said, you know what, if you're not going to tear it out, I'll take it. And so he took it. I wove in the ends along with all the rest of them. And it is now on his nightstand. He has 2 dishcloths on his nightstand. One was from Christmas 2010. I had gotten it into my head. I was going to make everybody a monogrammed dishcloth, which meant I knit an ecru dishcloth. And then I took maroon. I was going to use black, but I decided to use maroon. No, it wasn't maroon. It was burgundy color yarn because it just looks so good. The burgundy color looks so nice against the creamy ecru color. It just looked fabulous. And I, using tearaway tracing paper, I did P for Philip, and like the one for my mom. Her name's Carol, so I did C for her. Everybody in the family that got one got a monogrammed one with their first initial. So he has that one, and he's had that one for years, and it's always been on his bedside table. It's where his cell phone sits while it's charging overnight. And when I gave him the one from Freshly Squeezed, I said, well, are you just going to trade them out? And he said no. And he moved all the TV controllers and all the TV controllers. The TV controller, the DVD controller, the cable box controller. Because everybody has a multitude of controllers. And he moved those, put it down, and put the controllers on top of them. So the orange square is his controller doily, for lack of a better term. So yeah. It's over there. That's what he uses it for. And if I had thought I was going to tell you the story, I would have gone to get it so you could see my mistake. Actually, hang on a second. Hi. Okay. So yeah, pause the camera, went and got it. So before I show you the freshly squeezed one, I'm going to show you the one I made him 6 years ago. And keep in mind, this thing has only been washed a handful of times because it doesn't get dirty because it just sits on his nightstand. And my monogramming back then, the monogram back then looked really good. So that's what it looks like. It's tightened up a lot. Can you tell? Because it's never been used. So yeah, that's what the back looks like. It's a mess. But yeah, this is the one that sits up front. There it is. And this is the freshly squeezed one. Isn't that bright? Okay, let me get closer so you can see the twist. I think that might come through. Okay, so the twist is, it is a darker orange yarn, a or not a darker orange yarn. Yeah, it really is like this color orange almost, maybe a little darker orange thread, a yellow thread, and then it looks like a pink thread. Can you guys see the pink? All right. So standard looking grandma's favorite dishcloth issue, right? That's my mess up. I have no idea what I did. I don't know what I did, but that's it. And there's hair on. There's hair on this thing. But that's what it is. So yeah. So if I did it, if for anybody that's knit grandma's favorite washcloth, you know, you start here, go out to whatever number of stitches, however big you want your dishcloth to be. Then you start decreasing and coming back up to a point. Well, I apparently did this not long after starting to decrease. And I didn't notice I had done it until I was here. That far from the top. Yeah, I wasn't going to tear that out. I wasn't. My mistake. But it has a nice life as a TV controller doily on my husband's nightstand. It's amazing just what mindless mistakes you can make, even with muscle memory, when you've been making something for years. Let's see, I'm consulting my notes. Did the number... Okay. I know I've told you guys about these cardboard cones that I'm going to make look like candy corn. No, I haven't done them yet. But I'm going to tomorrow. Today is Saturday, June 3rd. My friend Tiffy, who's also my craft show cohort, I keep doing it. She's going to come over tomorrow. We're going to put newspaper all over my kitchen counter. And we're going to make those cardboard cones tomorrow. I think at this point is come hell or high water, I am making those things tomorrow. So, this is going to be really funny. So, I will have those tomorrow or next week to show you. What did I write down about craft show dates? Craft show dates. So, as you guys know, I like making dishcloths and I sell them, or at least the ones that I don't mess up. I sell them at craft shows every fall. I typically participate in 2 craft shows each year. Last year I had the opportunity for a 3rd, but I sold out at my 2nd show, so it wasn't worth it. But luckily, the 3rd show, there wasn't a booth fee or anything, so I didn't lose any money. Well, we have the opportunity to go on a trip this October. And then we have some family coming in, like, not long after we get back from the trip. So there's, like, a 4-week span over a couple months that we're either not here or we have company. And, of course, all those dates happen to overlap all 3 craft shows I was planning on participating in. So... my goal of 100 dishcloths by craft show season. Oh, that goal is not going away because you know what will happen. Something will happen with this trip and it'll get canceled and they'll be scrambling to make enough dishcloths to participate in these craft shows. So I'm still carrying on. But it's like, really? Really? Because Tiffy, my craft show cohort, one of the big shows we do, is the fall festival at the local college. And I wasn't there for it last year, and she very kindly hauled my tubs of stuff to the craft show and sold them for me. And of course, we split the booth fee and all that jazz. And I sold some. But it was like, oh, Tiff, I think it might happen again this year. Then we looked at the date for it. And one of our other friends is getting married the same day. My AC just kicked on, if you can hear it. I'm sorry that it's loud. I forgot to turn it off. But I'm almost done, so I'm going to power through this. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting craft show season for us. So wish us luck. That's all I have for you today. Next week, candy corn cardboard cones. I promise. I hope. And if I get this stuff coned up by then, I'll show that to you as well. So yeah, the middle of the month is really weird for me when it comes to the knitting podcast, because I don't do finished objects except for the last month, and I don't feel like I have enough to show you guys. So we'll see how that goes for the next month or so. If that keeps on keeping on, I may go down to every other week, but that'll be interesting to see how that affects my my filming schedule. So I hope everybody has a nice weekend, and I'll see you next week with candy corn cones. Bye.